Hello, it's episode 2 of the 21st Hub podcast, a podcast that's centered on helping people out there who may be going through situations and things that our guests may be going through. We are with the view that the experiences that we share with our guests here can help you out there to live a better life or avoid a situation that our guests may have gone through. My name is Ethan Tembo, and this is the 21st Hub podcast. Last episode we had Nelson, who pretty much told us how he encountered or had a near experience of a beating of his life when he almost got beaten for not telling the person he was dating that he moved on. Crazy, right? Well, on today's episode we have a guest, a special guest. Did I say a special guest? What?
You can call me a special guest.
We have a special guest on this episode, and our guest today is Chipo Munachonga. Did you have an AKA?
No, I didn't.
You
People
don't?
just call me Munanaik because of the Chonga.
Oh. What does your name mean though?
It means gift.
Gift. So
You
gift
finish
Nike.
Yes, you can put it like that. But my dad told me it's a clan, so I got my name from it, my surname from a clan. Munachonga is a clan, so yes, I come from the Munachonga clan, and then we took it as a surname, something like that in our history.
Welcome to episode 2 of the 21st Hub podcast.
Thank you.
Are you aware of what happens here? Did you watch our last episode?
Am I allowed to lie?
Yeah, just for this episode, yeah.
Okay, I watched one episode. It wasn't a full episode though. This is not a lie, I'm not lying. This is for you.
How can you be so sure
I can
that you're not lying?
I can get specifics of what I saw
Okay.
in the first one. Are we allowed to mention names or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the first one I saw was Joyce while they are asking someone, I think that was a random person,
Yeah?
asked him a question, and then he gave a parallel answer, like he gave a contrary answer to what she was asking, and it came out as a joke, and then that was funny. That's what I saw.
Then you're no guest at 21st Hub podcast, I might say.
No, not, but
Excellent. From the real life experiences that we share with people, the real life experiences that we draw from people, Chipo's experience today, I believe, will leave your mind blown, because I can already feel blown as we speak right now. Okay, so Chipo, from your story, from your experience that you're about to give us, what lessons do you want us to look out for in your story?
from my story, the lessons I'd like you to look out for are how you're going to be, how you're able. You have so much power. Your mind has so much power.
Your mind
you
has
can
so much
control
power.
it.
Okay.
Yes, you can control it, and then we'll talk about a certain book that I read that taught me about, the power of my mind, how we make decisions and whatnot. So I hope my story helps you make the right decisions and learn one or two things, because I believe I don't only have to learn from my experiences, I have to learn from other people's experiences. That's all. Yes.
Okay, the floor is yours. Please give us your story and highlight what we should look out for.
Okay. So did I start? I don't know, but I think each story gives a chronicle to most of my experiences. So I'll start with how I started my addictions, my smoking habits and drinking habits, how they started, how I overcame them, how it affected me, how it affected my social life, and how it's somehow still affecting my social life, and but I'm still learning and healing. I'm the healing process. I've healed, but then yes.
It's happening gradually.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please.
So we'll start with how I started drinking. So this was, how I started with peer pressure. peer pressure is something I don't believe in. Honestly, I don't.
Why?
I just think everyone has their own. Everyone knows what they want to do and what they don't want to do.
And for those who don't know,
That's very unusual. How don't you know something that, like in the African setup, how we were brought up, we were taught before going to secondary school, my parents gave me a prep talk at college. They gave me a talk about, I'm sure almost everyone had this talk when going to secondary school. They'll talk to you about friends, the wrong friends, right friends, don't drink. We are not drinking is not right, smoking is not right, and these other things that teenagers are not supposed to do. So I had that prep talk, but I still went ahead and did that things because I wanted to experiment.
Wait, you did those things because you wanted to?
Yes, because I wanted
you
to.
were not pressured by anyone to?
No, I wasn't, because I don't think someone would ask me to do what I don't want to do. I've grown up like that, even as a small girl. I do what I want to do. That's just what I feel I want to do. So if
you are the boss, you're not the boss of me.
Yes, I'm the boss of me. Yes, not even my parents, which would sound a bit disrespectful, but if I'm not comfortable with something, I'll speak it out. And that's how I was brought up by my parents. So
Okay.
So with how I started drinking, which will also talk about the peer pressure. When I was at St. Marceline Secondary School, that was grade 8 and 9. So in grade 8, I was all, a good girl, following my parents' prep talk. Until there's that thing of splitting classes and then meeting new people again, starting all over. So I was taken to my class. I met different people. You know how you start socializing with the whole school now? Yes.
You are the star.
As always.
You and I have something in common. We were at the same high school. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
We were at the same high school, and part of those things, I would say in a way, relatable. I can relate to what you're saying. I can relate. So it just makes so much sense now that you are talking about it. And for anyone who may be in my boat, it definitely makes so much sense now.
I'm glad it does. So I was a socialite. I started interacting with everyone. There was a point, in grade 8, there was a point where I stopped interacting with my fellow grade mates. And I was with the grade 12s, the grade 11s, as the cool kids.
You were in grade 8 and still interacting with grade 12s?
Yes.
Why, if I may ask?
I don't know. I just...
You were too cool.
I think so. I'm the kids.
You were the cool kid? Okay. I know.
I'd fit in everywhere.
I've noticed this in almost every senior group. There's always that kid.
Yes.
So you were that kid.
I was that kid.
Okay. What qualities did they see in you for them to recruit you in their group?
I don't know, but growing up, I've always wanted to be around people older than me, because I just thought we'd talk about things that I don't know, that in my head it's like my age mates wouldn't say anything sensitive or anything I'd like to hear. They would, but then it wouldn't be a normal thing, like it wouldn't be an ongoing thing. But then for adults, it's just they talk about things I want to experience, try out. Yeah, so that's that. So I started interacting with them. Yes, it affected my grades, and that was just grade 8.
Grade 8?
Grade 8.
Wow.
So you know how St. Marcelin's is in Kalulushi, and then I live in Kitwe. So there's a school bus. So it used to drop us off, when going to school and when coming back. So it would leave us in town, drop us off in town, Kitwe town. So you know how our pickup point was the same pickup point for Mukowa boys.
Okay.
Yes, like it was opposite. So at that time, since I used to be found with the seniors and I was a junior, so the seniors, and then Mukuba is a boys' school, the seniors would hang with the Mukuba boys after school and whatnot. So I'd also follow like that. So them being older than me, and then doing things that they're in grade 11, they're in grade 12, they'd obviously go and drink after school, or go and smoke, or go and play. I remember at the time we went to play, they went to play FIFA and whatnot, and then I was just there because I didn't know how to do it. So just like that, it happened that amongst one of the Mukuba boys, pupils, one of them was someone I lived with in the same neighborhood, but didn't know them. So I started interacting. That was a male. Started interacting, walking back home together, going home together, and whatnot. Introduced me to his friends, and then there's how 2014 to 2017 there's this thing of trap house, what. So when there was the whole trap house thing, where the trap house is just where you go and drink
and
smoke, yes. And then you'd be the cool ones at that time.
Okay.
So I gained more popularity like that. I was the only girl. Like it now moved. It was staging. It now moved from the seniors at my school to the seniors from Mukuba boys, and then the other seniors.
Wow.
Yeah.
You graduated.
I graduated.
Okay. Okay.
So being the only girl, and then just entering puberty, because I went to secondary school as a very small girl. So there are things like, I want to try it out. Why are my parents against these things? It looks like these people are happy, they're having fun doing these things. And then looking at how the house I was coming from, I don't think my parents would know. They wouldn't notice because they're never home. So if I did it wouldn't hurt anyway. Let me just try it because they won't know. Okay, at first I wasn't scared. Like, it's just a thing for, okay, my parents don't want this. They said I shouldn't do it. But what if I do it and then they don't know about it? Because they won't know. So the drinking started. That was grade 8 term 3. December holiday.
Grade 8 term 3.
Yes.
Grade 8 term 3.
Grade 8 term 3. My first secondary school year. Term 3.
Wow.
Yes. It's like everything happened fast.
Okay.
And then I was thinking it's growing up because I was going through puberty, and then the exposure. So grade 8 term 3, December holiday. My dad would travel a lot that time. My mom was busy with work. So they were barely home. So this is me going to a trap house every day. So how the drinking came in was, they were doing adult games that a 14-year-old, that was 13 actually, a 13-year-old wouldn't be. It's just because I was being found with them at that time. So they were doing cards and truth or dare, things that my juniors weren't doing. So it seemed my juniors were a bit old-fashioned. They weren't up to my standards anymore.
Your seniors?
No.
Your juniors? Oh, your juniors, okay.
Yes. So it's like they wouldn't be doing what the adults are doing, which was fun to me. Like playing of cards, the truth or dare, the dares we used to do. It's like, it was just fun, better than what these guys would do. They'd go for ice cream, like my juniors after school, they'd go for ice cream and move around town, go to prep and whatnot. So December holiday, back to December holiday, grade 8 term 3. This day they're playing cards, and I didn't know how to play cards. I had no idea. So this gent said he said no one was going to just sit there and not do anything. So we all have to play the cards. So he said, I'll teach you. So he did. I don't remember how to play them even now, because he didn't really teach me. He was playing for me. So I don't know if he deliberately lost the games at my games. So the thing was, if you lose, you have to drink. You remember balls, right?
Yeah.
And I started with spirits. I don't know if it's. I don't know how
Yeah.
to put it, but
We get the idea.
so the first alcohol I tasted was a spirit, and I think that's the most that I took. And I was only 13, going to 14 years old. So there was both and green apple. I remember that time green apple was the main thing at that time.
Yeah, because of its flavor.
Yes. So there's a small pause, and then I remember there's a green apple, a big one, and a small one. So when he lost, because he was playing for me. So when he lost, because we were still on the same couch. So when I lost, they asked me to drink. So I couldn't, like, you know how spirits are. So I tasted, it wasn't nice. I expected it to be like apple max or something. Then he said he was going to help me sip the buzz. And I had to finish it. That was the deal. So the second round, I failed. He failed again. I had to drink it on my own. So I took all of it. Yeah. And then it became an everyday thing because it's December, you're not going to school, you're home. It became a normal thing. And I gradually got used to the drinking. I could just drink like water now. It was just normal. I remember my parents, that's it. So December holiday is done. I'm not addicted. It's now become normal. We resume back to school. Same thing after school. If you knock off early, you go and drink. So that you go. There's a place in Chipo where I used to go drink from sometimes. So January, okay, I really don't remember what happened. But usually holidays. So the next holiday, should have been the next holiday or the other one, where more people started coming. People from boarding schools. Like now, the group was growing. People from boarding schools started
Coming back.
coming
joining
back.
the group.
And then I was introduced to new people, and still being the only girl. So now it changed from cards, truth or dare, to sex.
To sex.
Yes.
So you were, in my understanding, you were exposed to sex at grade 8, grade 9.
At grade 9, yes.
Grade 9. Okay.
So I'm not going to touch that today. Then go to my addictions. So the whole grade 9 period, I remember there was a time it affected my health as well. Say having
drinking.
seizures.
Okay.
But it's not something I opened up to my parents about. My parents would not, like, I'd have seizures even at school. So my teachers would call my parents, and then that's how my parents found out that I was having seizures. But I didn't tell them I was drinking or into anything. No. So
What were the seizures because of you drinking alcohol?
I think it came to that point. That's what I believe, because looking back, usually they'd give me pocket money for food, or I wouldn't use it. I'd save it for after school when I'm going to drink. So that happened. Grade 9 exams came around, and then my dad suggested I should go to a boarding school and whatnot. So I had to write my grade 9. So you know how the grade 9 holiday, so much happened in grade 9. I can't remember. I just remember stuff in flashes. So grade 9, that whole long-term grade 9 holiday, we resumed to the drinking, and so I'd see the guys smoke, but I didn't like smoking until I tried it. So the drinking. This one day, I blacked. What was happening? And from that time, I don't think I like fries.
Fries, chips.
I don't think that's very event. Even apple max, I don't like, because it reminds me of green apple.
Yeah, okay.
So that event, I remember very very vivid. We were drinking. People from boarding school came back, and then I remember having money. In fact, this is how that day started. I had money. I think my parents were traveling, so they left some money for me and my little brother. So each one of us had money. So I called the guys and told them, because it wasn't far. The trap house wasn't far from my house. I called one of the guys, told them, guys, I have money. We should drink. We should buy alcohol. And then I didn't know things about ciders. I think when looking back, I think I find that a bit ghetto because how would a girl be asking about spirits?
Yeah, yeah.
So I told them we should drink that day, and then went to the trap house. I remember there's this dude who was always submissive for drinking. Like, you just ask him, "No, he'd go, and then so he went, bought. Then these boarding school people came at the same house that very day. Then they brought these other girls, and then we drank. But before we drank the alcohol, he had fries from Banatasila. I remember very well. Those fries are nice. So we all had fries. Then the green apple, then the what? We had fun, laughing, playing hard. I don't know. I don't remember some of the events. So this is me just blacking. I just found myself laying outside the veranda, and that was reckless. Outside the veranda. The only girl lying among us boys, because I remember having like I woke up, like I opened my eyes, and then found myself. But then I didn't have the energy to even. The only
Do
person
anything.
I remember one person passing and then saying, "I feel like she take up," and then he ran away because he was scared. So we were all lying there, and so it happened that one of the girls that the guys brought, like I mentioned earlier, there were girls who were brought, was drunk and she went home. She was supposed to go for a holiday, like after drinking, and she was supposed to travel to Ndola. So she went home performing. She was drunk. So her aunties asked her how she got drunk and who she was with. So she said no, at Thing's place. So the aunt comes and finds us all laying there, and then I'm the only girl. And then she just starts yapping and shouting, and I don't remember what she was saying. Next thing I know is Auntie Joyce comes to pick me up. That was our housekeep. So that day it was supposed to be a very tragic day because my dad was home. He came back home early. So Auntie Joyce comes to pick me up and then is telling me I could hardly walk. She's telling me, "Dad's home, tell him you're sick. If you just tell him you're sick, I came to pick you up." I go home, my dad is seated in the living room, and then we pass. She takes me straight to the bathroom. I'm in the bathtub. Then I think I was bathing. I don't remember. The only thing I remember is after some time, Auntie Joyce was about to knock off. I was on my bed. I had a very bad headache, and I asked my little brother what's happening because he thought I was sick. Then he says, "Dad's calling you." So I was scared. Like, I'm drunk. And then, what if it's showing? What if he knows? Because my dad takes alcohol, so he probably get a scent or something. Even if and I was puking that day. So I go to him and he asked me, "What's the problem?" I said, "No, I have a bad headache." I was trying as much as possible to not make it obvious, but it was clear that I was not okay. So I went to bed. My dad, as usual, left the house around, I think that was 19. Mom wasn't home. Yeah, then the next day passed. So after that day, we decided to stop drinking, to cut off the drinking.
Who's we?
Like me and the guys.
Oh, okay, okay.
So it now went to there's this gent. Okay, there's this gent, Ethan.
Why me?
It's the first thing that came to my head.
Okay.
Okay, so is an Ethan is one of the boys' cousin. So he comes for a holiday at our site. So he brings the weed and what. I didn't know anything about. They would use terms like joints, tiny, blunts. I wouldn't understand that. So they're all trying it, which I've already seen them do. They're trying it, they're doing it and that note, and then it's a part where in a circular thing. Like wow, just telling stories, but then it was happening. So now the dude next to me, he just hands over the joint, hands it over. And he goes, "Pepako might." And then I'm there, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. But anyway, let me do it, because why not? So I remember I choked the first time
Right.
yes, I choked, then it went. Then they wrote another one. It passed. Then I did it, and then it kept, yeah, kept out. It was blending as, until it started happening all the time, because I find myself, the after effects, the laughing and everything. Then everyone around you is a clown, and then I run away from problems at home, like your parents broken home, so you just want to be around people who are making you laugh. And yeah, so it kept happening. That was grade 9 holiday. From there, I used to smoke till 20, 2020, my gap year, my first gap year. So smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking. I remember in school I smoked on some events with some of my friends, gents. Smoking and smoking and smoking and smoking. So a part that I missed, I went to boarding school in grade 10. Masareti boarding where I was a Ethan.
Which Ethan were you with?
Ethan Tembo.
Not the guy you mentioned in the.
No, not that guy.
Okay.
The Ethan I'm studied facing right now.
Yeah.
So when I went to boarding school, it didn't stop, because it so happened that amongst the boys, I still met them in boarding school, like at Masai boarding school, when I thought I was going to be away from them. So it continued. We'd go back home, back to the same thing. I started to go back home and smoke. So I didn't see the effects at first, until after school, during my gap year. So smoking.
So you continue smoking even after you finished your grade 12?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we write our grade 12 exams, right? And now that's my gap year starts. That's December, I remember. No, November. End of November. Actually, 2 weeks before exams, my dad brings news about he's moving on. He tells me this 2 weeks before my exams, and I'm stressed. I'm scared. I'm introduced to a new woman, thinking about the new thing that I don't know how I'm going to start staying with another woman, calling her mom and whatnot. And at that time, my mom and our relationship was terrible. So after school, we already had wedding preparations for my dad's wedding. So that sort of stressed me out, and I thought the best way to just not cry about it, because I was a crybabe. So to avoid the crying and everything, I'd go smoking with my friends. Sometimes I'd use my money to ask them to get, even if they're not, let's say they just say it's going to be a productive day, we're not going to really do anything. But you know how they wouldn't resist the temptation. So I say, I have money, someone who can buy. I remember the time I started going to buy myself, I started going to a supplier myself. I started smoking in our backyard at some point. That was in grade 11. If the boys are not available, I do it on my own. And I learned how to roll the joints on my own. And I still remember how to do it yesterday. Yeah, so I remember I used to send our garden boy so to go and buy for me. So my dad's wedding preparations, those hit me very hard. And as I said, I was a crybaby. So to avoid the crying, I'd go to my friends, ask them to buy, would smoke. I remember this one day, it was just as rainy as today. It was 2 days away from my wedding, 2 days to my dad's wedding. That day I smoked.
Was it to relieve yourself, or
Yes.
was it?
I thought that was the best way to relieve myself.
Okay. Did it work?
It did for a time, but it did. Like a period I'd be high, yes. But when I'm back to normal,
Things would
everything
revert.
yes.
Okay.
At that time, I didn't think about what's the point, or I just think of wanting to do it again. So, in fact, for the addiction, the smoking became a thing. It became like, I don't know how to call it, but it became like anything I'm going through, like a small heartbreak, whether my friends don't talk to me anymore, I go and smoke. So now back to that day, that was as rainy as this one. I smoked. I was crying and smoking. And then it's like the guys didn't really know what was going on. It was just for the fun of it. Everyone was just having fun. Only one person among us, the boys, knew what was going on in my life. So after that, I smoked. But that wasn't tough, like the one that made me stop smoking. So my dad gets married. I continue with the smoking because now I moved in with my mom, which is very hard because, like I said, my mom's relationship, like me and my mom went. So it was hard living with her for the early days. It was very hard. So each time we'd argue, or I'd walk out to smoke. So my mom decides to move out of the area. I should move. So I moved to Nkana West. So the smoking is just because I wouldn't travel, like I wouldn't go to Pacha East anymore, like at open. But I'd still make plans. I'd go there maybe twice or thrice a week, just hang with the boys. So yeah, the smoking reduced until you move to Parkland, which isn't as far. Like it's easy for me to get on a bus to Pacha East. So I remember at that time I was writing my GCE for math and science. Sometimes I'd skip class. Go, boys. So that was 2010. So this day, a lot of events happened that day, but I remember one of the gents brought this weed. It felt different. It felt different. Just from the blunt, it felt different. So for the first round, before it could even reach the person who had it first, I was already high. That experience was different.
Paranoid?
Not really paranoid.
More than that.
It was just, how you're high after like maybe 2 rounds but then that was I remember I just inhaled one. It just felt different. The guys, I asked the guys before it became very tense. I was like, I'm just feeling how I'm feeling. They said it was just normal. So I don't know, but how I've taken it is that was the life-changing period for me. Since it was normal for everyone, but for me it's like it was just a cutting point.
That's when you decided, say, that's it for me.
Yes. And already I was having mental problems, like mental health instabilities.
What happened, if I may ask?
You know how, it's normal to feel detached from reality, right? Sometimes as a normal person. But for me, it was I almost got hit by a car. I was with my mom. We were coming from town this day. And then, that was after, the time we moved to Nkana West, when it was hard for me to go and smoke. So that was the period when the smoking reduced. So my mom and I were walking, because Nkana West is not that far from us, like 5 minutes walk. So I went down that evening, and our way back, we were walking and she's telling me a story, and then she said me who's detached from reality. I don't know if it's because I stopped smoking for some. That road, trucks usually pass through, that Central Street.
Central Street.
So you know how busy it gets in the evening with the trucks and everything. And then while walking, I don't remember what my mom was telling me about, but we were laughing. And I don't know how I bumped into, I don't know if it's a rock or I don't know, but I found myself in the drainage and the car dodged me. And then, I was with my mom. I asked her what was happening. She said she didn't know how it happened. So it's like I was absent-minded. I don't know. Some sort. I don't know. And I have a scar on my leg from that day. So yeah, it affected my mental health like that. My memory. So back to that experience for the weed, that blunt that I got. So I came back on my way back home after we're done. Everyone is acting normal, and I'm the only one who's, like I said, paranoid. But then it was way beyond paranoid because it wasn't normal. I could get paranoid, but not to that extent. So I'm on my way home. I remember in the Noah, they were playing music. The driver was playing music. I don't know how in my mind I was far ahead when I look outside in my head, and then the paranoia of I need to get home fast. It was 19. It was getting late. My mom wants me home. In my head, when I look outside the window, this seems so unreal, like how I'm saying, but it really happens. Outside, when I look through the window, we're passing by Toto filling station, but in reality, we just passed the DNBC roundabout. So I was that confused. Am I okay? Now I'm home. Well, in Kana West, there are a lot of flats, like around in our yard, so there are a lot of kids. So the gate was locked, and then I knocked. And then one of the kids came out. She was from the flat behind. So she came out and said like, no, mom is not yet home, meaning my mom. I was like, oh, okay, so I can sit at your place. So she asked me a question about school, and I heard something else. She asked me, I think she asked me, how are lessons? And then what I heard was, are you a virgin? I was so confused. I was like, what? She said she repeated the question, and I still heard, are you a virgin? So I just ignored her and went to her house to wait for my mom. So there's Auntie Miso there and her sister. Then they also asking me questions, and then I'm high. And I don't know what that. It's like they're frustrating me. I don't remember the question they asked me, but they asked me twice for which question. So Auntie Miso used to show the who auntie. So I think she noticed. So she stopped asking me the question. But her sister was still on my neck. She don't remember what question she was asking. So my mom calls, tell me, no, I'm at the door now, you can come home. So I went home. I thought I had a headache, so I slept. Next morning, I think that's the time we had to move to Parkland. So I had to go and look at the apartment that the agent had found. So it was early in the morning. My mom and I went. So she remained. I think she had to go and see and look at another apartment because we had options. So she told me to go home. So I walked back home because it wasn't a far town. So I went back home. I started walking back home. So I reached town at MTN. You know how MTN, but they still my fee, right? But as we turn, I don't know how the odd China move. I stood there for some time because my mom told me she wanted me to buy something for her. So I had to withdraw money. So I had to wait for a confirmation, like confirmation code. So I'm standing there. I remember I was wearing a camouflage sweatshirt and the blue boyfriend jeans. So I'm standing and everyone is staring at me. And I was thinking, what's wrong with me? And that was the day after I had that wig. It's like it didn't leave my head. So everyone is staring at me thinking I'm naked or I don't know what's going on. Am I naked? Am I okay? Out of the paranoia, I couldn't wait for my mom's call. I went home. So she asked me what happened. I was like, no, my head is just spinning. So from that day, I told myself I wasn't going to go to Qatar because it's trouble. Because I was already sensing that the people I was with last night from the other flats would have noticed something. Because if I tell you that all these things happened and my parents didn't know any of these things are going on in my life, not a day that my parents found out I was either smoking or drinking. And I haven't talked to them about it till today.
What a way to tell them.
I've been thinking about it, like, you know, I'm grown now, they can't beat me. I think I should tell them, but sometimes I think, what's the point of telling them if I overcame these things on my own?
Okay. And in all of this, how did it affect you mentally, socially, in literally every aspect of your being? How did it affect you?
It mostly affected me mentally. Okay?
Of which you've mentioned.
Yes, but here's the part where it's now becoming a serious thing. We now moved to Parklands. After that experience, right? We moved to Parklands by the flats. I detached from reality. I don't know how that was happening, but almost all the time, I'd still be feeling like I'm high, but I'm not high. That was after I stopped smoking. I was detached, just detached from reality. I remember crossing the road and asking myself, is this me crossing the road? Or how am I functioning? Is there like another being pushing my body to move? Or like I just used to have strange, weird thoughts in my head. So this one day, my mom noticed my strange behavior. I was absent-minded. That's not normal of me. I was disassociating myself, de-associating myself. I wouldn't want to watch TV with anyone. I just want to be alone. I don't want to be on the phone or anything. I just don't want to talk to anyone. I just think I'm in my own world. Nothing is making sense. So I told my mom, like, this is what's happening, because after she asked me, why are you always absent-minded? She was complaining as a mom. She asked you to do something, you do the opposite or you don't do it at all. So, absent-minded these days. That's all I was. And then my dad, at that time I had left my dad's business because I was living with him. That also affected me. Good. Okay, so back to when I told my mom about it, the first thing she said, as a prayer warrior, as a prayer African mom, said, we're going to pray about it. I didn't tell her it was from the smoking because I also didn't realize it was from the smoking. So she said we pray about it. She called my grandma. My grandma also involved me in prayers. And that time my spiritual life, it just
Went down.
went down. It was at least when I was in high school, because as chairperson for church at some point, yeah, go to church like that. But then that period, even prayers, church, I don't want to listen anything like that. I mean, so we called my grandma. My grandma prayed. My mom even reached an extent of calling the pastor because it became James. Like, she's going through something. So my grandma was like, no, the devil is just trying to capture you because you're a sharp girl, shan. But then as the prayers were going on, like, we'd have prayers every night. I came to realization, like, I started thinking, no, these are actually, my mom in Beba says, Amadi Weyakwe Kwaeda. Amadi Weyakwe Kwaeda.
Amali Weyakwe Kwaeda. What does it mean?
It means consequences of your own actions. Things, if, how do I put, yes, of your own actions, your own decisions. So
Okay.
these are the outcomes, these are the implications. So I started realizing, and I think those prayers did help. They did help, even if I didn't open up. So it's like I was constantly fighting a battle within myself, and then the people who want to help me, but then I wasn't open. So I think if I was open, that would have helped me better. But also the fact that I overcame these things on my own, that makes me a stronger person. So now, yes, that phase passed. I reached a point where I called Uncle Edima from Sinozam. I asked him if I could go to a mental facility, like seek counseling or something. I should see a psychiatrist or something. I should be on drugs or something because I was acting strange. So he also gave me the same advice because they're a child of God. So I had this just pray, and that was because I wasn't being open. So yeah, I eventually just stopped smoking. I cut contact with all of the guys. Though a lot of events happened while the smoking was going on, but some of those events also like pushed me to cut off communication with most of them.
Would you call it growth?
Yes.
It's a good thing, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It feels great, actually.
What an interesting story this has been. But before I let you go, your top 4 advice to someone who may be watching you right now.
My top 4, my first one would be learn from people's mistakes. Learn from people's mistakes and also from your own mistakes. Secondly, don't take don't resent yourself by things that happened or the decisions that you made, because you are learning from those things. You should learn from those things. That's what's making you who you are today, if you manage to overcome certain things. Thirdly, be open. If people are there to help you, you have a full support system, because the people who don't have support system at all. So be open. Don't be scared of what would happen. The best thing is you've helped yourself. But if you're in a case where, like in a situation where I was scared of opening up, but I managed to fight. Not everyone has the grace. I take this as grace. Not everyone has the grace to overcome things on their own by hiding them. I might be a strong warrior in that way, but maybe you're not. So try to open up. And thirdly, fourthly, make the right decisions. You have all the power to control your mind and make the decision, because from the book that I read, As a Man Thinketh, so it was actually from the Bible. The book was inspired from the Bible verse. Yes. So you are what you think and what you feed your mind. So for my addiction, I started telling myself I can stay without smoking. Life is not all about smoking and drinking and those other things. I can be on my own. I can cut off people unapologetically. I don't have to, because it's for me. So that's that. You have all the power to control your mind. It's all with you. It depends on what you feed your mind with, and yes, the things you decide to do, the things you want to act on. I don't know if I said anything that makes sense.
Wow.
I'm very confused.
Thank you very much. You thought we wouldn't just, hey, you thought we would go without saying bye, huh? Well, this has been your host, Ethan, and please do not forget to subscribe, like the page on TikTok, Facebook, and what? On YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us feedback in the comment section, and please tell a friend to tell a friend. This has been the 21st Half. This has been the 21st Half podcast from us.